Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight this evening.
Thank you so much, Faith. Thanks for having me here.
Now, it's a very prestigious moment. I mean, we're saying that the Bishop Michael Curry will be coming in to speak about the work done by the late Bishop David Beetge. Let's talk a little bit about the significance of this memorial lecture particularly.
The church is in the business of instilling hope, and it is in the business of, elevating people from hopelessness and into a state where we can all feel that all manner of things are possible. So David Beetge was an outstanding South African bishop in the Church of God, and education was really dear to his heart. And when he died at a young age of 59, we looked at how can we memorialize him to take some of his values. And education was one of his key focus, and education in the poorest of the poor, particularly in the area of Springs. There's a place called Dagakral, and there's a particular school called Kwasa that he founded to ensure that there is quality education which is accessible. So the lecture tomorrow by Bishop Michael Curry, who has been dubbed the royal wedding preacher.
Well, he was very famous during that time.
He was very famous during that time.
And he did not mince his words.
He didn't. And I hope even tomorrow that in elevating South Africans to look at peace, to look at something bigger than ourselves, I hope he will not be shy. Yes.
Well, I'm hoping that he won't be shy either, because there are a whole lot of programs and anti-poverty related programs that were initiated by the late Bishop David Beetge.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about some of those programs that were initiated, because to tackle the issue of poverty, it's not a mild task, and it's definitely not for the faint-hearted, one would say.
Yeah, it needs somebody who believes that change is possible. It needs somebody who's courageous. It means somebody that says injustice should not be tolerated. So he started for our church when it was not fashionable to do HIV testing. He opened some of our churches. He found resources so that we could deal with stigma. And he opened centers where orphan and vulnerable children could be tended to by the church. And he opened schools. I mean, one of his best schools is St. Dunstan's School in Benoni, but he didn't want to concentrate just on the city schools. So he went, where the rubber hits the road, where the poorest of the poor are suffering from poor management, poor policies, and are forgotten.
Now, I mean, the significance of having an individual such as Bishop Michael Curry actually come in and give the memorial lecture says something about the weight of the individual of Bishop David Beetge as well. So was that strategic in the decision making to have the Bishop Michael Curry come to South Africa and give this memorial lecture so that we could actually acknowledge and know who this individual called David Beetge or Bishop David Beetge actually was?
Yes, it was part of that, because perhaps a few South Africans will know him. And the first lecture was given equally by somebody who's known within the Anglican world, the former Archbishop of Canterbury, Archbishop Dr. Rowan Williams. And the second one was given by Bani Pichana, who's well known in South Africa. He's larger than life. And the third one was given by Sam Wells, again from St. Martin's in the Field in London, Trafalgar Square, next to South Africa House. And St. Martin's in the Field was very pivotal in helping us fight apartheid. And now we said, now, who else? I know it's a list of males. We'll rectify it one day and get a powerful woman. But we said, who else? And then we got Michael Curry. And when he said, yes, I will come there, then we were quite elated. But it is also not about the speakers, but it is about David Beetge, simple internationalist with a big heart. He didn't have his own children, but children were dear to him.
Yeah, and I have to ask you this, Bishop, while we still have you with us, because we were seeing a few messages from, for example, political parties such as the ACDP, which launched the election manifesto, and that just really resonated a question in my heart of the role of the church in politics in South Africa. When you're speaking about a gentleman such as David Beetge, who went in and had schools and focused on education and that is a form of rectifying some of the injustices of the past, right? And being able to be an advocate for change. Where does the church sit in terms of being advocates of change, particularly around the political climate? Because especially around this time where there's chaos, a lot of people are looking to the church for answers, for guidance, for some form of sign that everything is going to be okay.
For example, maybe let me finish the point on the lecture. The lecture is tomorrow at Wits University at 3:05. And the choice of Wits University is also deliberate. It actually says education is a weapon to transforming that litany of ugly things that we are talking about. And so the church will come alongside education institutions. The church will come alongside those that are positive role models. And the church will encourage its own to say, gone are the days when the Archbishop from Cape Town gives the proclamations and everybody follows. But the church will say, once we are gathered, please listen to the message carefully, because you are called to love, you are called to speak about peace, and then go and live that love and peace in business, in politics, in commerce, and everywhere. So we hope that our parishioners and those that are listening know their Christian duty, that their Christian duty is not to wait for the priest nor the archbishop, but is actually to make this world a better place. They should be pained when somebody is maimed, somebody is raped. They should be pained when politicians make empty promises, and they should challenge them to say, but your manifesto said this. I'm going to vote my conscience, and I'm not going to be partisan because you've promised this and you've not delivered. And once they vote people into power, they should hold them accountable. So that's part and parcel of the role of the church. And some people normally say, Archbishop, the role of the church is to preach and pray. Stay out of politics. But
what do you think?
I always remind them that God is God of all, or no God at all. So politics is too important for us to leave it to politicians only.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're going to leave our conversation there. All the best for the memorial.
Thank you so much, Faith.
Thank you so much.